Guys, Ben here and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the CW, the Arrowverse and the future of the CW network. So if you do go on to enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment and subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos here on the channel. Okay, so we just got some major breaking news just yesterday on October 3rd, 2022. And this was the official announcement from Deadline, link is going to be in the description below, that the head of the CW, the chairman and CEO, Mark Pedowitz, is actually exiting the network immediately. So he is officially gone. Now, why is this big news for the Arrowverse? Well, Mark Pedowitz was actually the one to champion these shows. He's been in charge of the CW for a long time, many years now. He was there at the start of Arrow and he really championed the series, and then obviously they brought in the Flash and then they continued to expand the Arrowverse. He was very supportive. He never cancelled any of these shows until Nexstar came in and acquired a big majority stake in the CW, and I think that has actually led to Mark Pedowitz exiting the CW as the CEO and chairman because of the new changes. If you guys remember, there was a report a while ago that talked about the new owners at Nexstar and what their plans were for the CW in terms of their spending and the way that they would be trying to control the network. Well, I'm pretty sure in a report it said that this took the CW top brass by surprise. And so I think what you're seeing here with Mark Pedowitz officially exiting the CW is he's not happy with this takeover and he just doesn't want to be a part of it, so he's going to continue down a different path. So let's go ahead and read this Deadline article and we'll break it down, analyze it, so please be sure to stick around throughout the whole video because this news really is going to change the way that the Arrowverse is in the future, because there could be some huge changes without Mark Pedowitz in control. So it goes like this: Mark Pedowitz is stepping down as chairman and CEO of the CW after 11.5 years at the helm of the broadcast network, one of the longest tenures ever in network television. The move comes as local TV giant Nexstar Media Group has taken over the CW with its acquisition of 75% stake in the 16-year-old broadcast operation now completed. He will be replaced by Nexstar board member Dennis Miller, who was named president, confirming new owners' intention to take the CW in a different direction. So that's the first paragraph. There you go. They've just appointed one of their own to be in charge of the CW as Mark exits. So this Dennis Miller, I don't know anything about him, but he is a board member of Nexstar, and you can kind of presume he has a similar thinking to the way that Nexstar has been talking about the CW as of recently, since they acquired it fully with its 75% stake. So this does not spell good news for the Arrowverse for any of the shows, because remember they kept on going on about, oh, you know, the demographic ratings, you know, like actually it's like people, you know, 50 to 60, and that's because they're looking at the network ratings for the entire day rather than in the 2 hours every day that the CW would have its original programming. Because in the day, if you guys didn't know, they just show like repeats of different old shows from different networks that they've acquired, and also like game shows, reality shows, basically stuff that you can watch but basically tune out. So that is why when everyone else is busy working in the day, it's kind of an older, retired demographic that is on the TV. And so that's why, you know, Nexstar is talking about this, because they're looking at the overall ratings and they're like, okay, we need more like this so we can get it up. But really they're going to be losing a big chunk of their core audience who is truly passionate about the CW. So if they start to phase out shows like The Flash and Superman, Lois and Stargirl, what's going to happen is the CW is just going to become a normal network that no one cares about, right? Like, people actually are fans of the CW because of its shows like Riverdale, Supernatural, The Flash, Arrow in the past, Supergirl. But now, if they start to phase out that original programming just because they want viewership ratings and they want to have, you know, like game shows and reality shows on, they're going to lose their audience, and that's a fact, I think. So let's continue with this. Pedowitz's exit is effective immediately, and the respected TV veteran executive will be reviving his Pine Street Entertainment company which he was running under a deal at Warner Bros. TV when in the spring of 2011 he was appointed president of the CW. Warner Bros. TV and CBS Studios, who had been the CW's co-owners / suppliers, are considered a likely studio home for his return to producing. So there you go. Well, maybe Mark is going to be back in business with Warner Bros. TV or CBS Studios because he had a past relationship with them in the past. And obviously they're getting out the CW game, even though they're still running the productions. But there's a chance in the future that Nexstar acquires the productions and actually lets go of Warner Bros. And CBS's control entirely. That's if they try and buy out the rest of the company. So yeah, this does not spell good news at all for the future of the CW, but good on Pedowitz for restarting his entertainment company. Maybe he can continue to make the type of thing that you've seen on the CW, but from his own company for Warner Brothers in just a different way of releasing it potentially. So we'll have to wait and see, but it continues like this. The article goes, Nexstar signaled potential changes at the time of August 15th, as it made its acquisition announcement when its topper said that the CW would be shifting toward broader and cheaper programming. There you go, that is the confirmation of what they said back then that I just mentioned, including acquired / off-network shows with the goal to make the network profitable by 2025. Those statements reportedly blindsided the CW leadership. There you go, again confirming what I just mentioned earlier. Still, Nexstar also made a point of announcing at the time that Pedowitz would remain chairman and CEO, projecting a sense of stability, at least in the short term. So there you go. They knew that this was going to obviously make the rounds and people would get worried, so they wanted to hang on to Mark Pedowitz for at least the start of the acquisition, but it seems Mark has just had enough and he's just not happy with what's going on with Nexstar acquiring the CW and their kind of drive to make cheaper and more widely accessible shows that would be able to play in the day as well as the night, and that includes buying other shows and basically just repeating them on TV all day long, and basically it's just going to become a repeat network. That's how I would describe it. But let's continue with this. So now Pedowitz's exit marks the beginning of the end for the CW as we know it, a fully fledged broadcast network built on original scripted series, with observers expecting it to eventually resemble outlets like My Network TV or PAX. Other CW executive departures and layoffs are likely as the new owners start to implement their plans. So there you go. Probably other employees that worked closely with Pedowitz are going to be leaving, or they might be laid off if they disagree with the way that Nexstar is trying to take the show. And I don't know networks like My Network TV or PAX, but you can tell just by the names and just because I don't know them, and I'm probably sure that a lot of you guys don't know them, that they are just run-of-the-mill networks and they have nothing interesting about them. And so observers are expecting it to eventually resemble those type of outlets that are just uninteresting, and it's probably going to be the end of the CW as we know it, as the article states, because it was a network fully built on creating original scripted programming that really championed diversity, great storytelling, superheroes, kind of the supernatural as well, with all of the storytelling that they were doing, lots of genre stuff. It was a great network, and I really hope that Nexstar really doesn't F it up. And so let's continue from here. Pedowitz, who succeeded the first programming president of the CW, Dawn Ostroff, focused on broadening the network's audience, bringing in more older and male viewers, and ramping up the CW's diversity and inclusion efforts, while navigating the network's complicated ownership structure as a 50-50 Warner Bros. CBS venture. The two companies will retain a 12.5 stake going forward, they say. And obviously Mark coming into control definitely made a big difference, and basically the CW as we know it was kind of created by him and led by him. He brought in people like Greg Berlanti, and he really championed shows like Supernatural, Arrow, The Flash, Supergirl and things like that. And so as a self-professed big Supernatural fan, Pedowitz got behind the series once he joined the CW as president, and used it as a cornerstone of his rebuilding strategy. Supernatural star Jerry Padalecki recalled how Pedowitz told him and his co-star Jensen Ackles from the start how much he loved their show. This is a quote from them. "We really didn't know how serious he was about it, but even early on it was very clear that he cared about us as people," Padalecki said about how the executive treated talent on the CW shows. He would go on to praise this or that scene. He knew that one of us had gotten a cold the prior week or had just had a baby prior months earlier. He always put people first, and so no matter what, we all felt like he cared about us. And so that is absolutely great to hear, right? Like, you really hope this is true, and it seems like he was a nice guy and he was a good leader and he supported the shows that he was behind, basically, and that's all you want to hear. But with this new takeover, it seems like all they are seeing is money signs. They're seeing dollars, and that is it. They don't see the people that are working on the shows that they're cancelling. That is getting rid of people's jobs. So yeah, they really don't care. That's what we can take from Nexstar right now. But soon after he started, Pedowitz launched a string of DC series, including Arrow, The Flash, Supergirl, and Legends of Tomorrow, complete with ambitious annual crossover events, and continue to add hits like Riverdale and All American, all of them coming from Berlanti Productions, which hit its stride and become a top CW supplier during Pedowitz's tenure. Berlanti's relationship with Pedowitz dates back to the time Pedowitz was president of then ABC Studios, where Berlanti had an overall deal and executive produced the ABC drama series Brothers and Sisters. Berlanti was the first writer producers Pedowitz called when he took the job at the CW, and it led to breakout hit Arrow, which launched the network's DC universe, aka the Arrowverse, as well as Riverdale and All American, neither of which popped in their first seasons, but Pedowitz stuck with them until they did. He was the right person in the job at the right time, Berlanti said of Pedowitz. He found so many ways to make the network viable and keep shows that other people would have cancelled after 6 episodes on the air for 6 years sometimes, gave them time to find and build an audience. So this section of the article is actually probably my favourite, because you hear the stars talking about him and also Berlanti and talking about their kind of relationship and why it all worked, because Pedowitz believed in building these shows, and obviously that led to the introduction of the Arrowverse. And so if it wasn't for Pedowitz, the Arrowverse probably wouldn't have existed. There's a chance that Arrow wouldn't have gone beyond like a season 1 or 2 if Pedowitz wasn't in control. And so Berlanti goes on to say, "I think his track record speaks for itself. Everybody predicted the death of that network from the time we started when we were working on Arrow. Everybody was saying it was going to be gone a few years. And look at all the things that have survived. There's a whole generation of young people that have been shaped by the stories that he supported telling and the storytellers he supported. Whoever comes in next, they could learn a lot from his methodologies and the kind of leader he's been there." I think that's definitely for certain. However, I really don't think, and I'm not very optimistic that they're going to take on anything that Mark has been doing, because all signs point to Nexstar being completely the opposite, and probably because they've appointed a board member as the head president of the CW, it's going to go down the path that they want. They want profit, they don't care about storytelling, they don't care about the audience, so they're probably going to let Superman and Lois run for like 1-2 more seasons, and if it's not profitable, they're probably going to cancel it, or they're probably going to end it. And I think if it's at that point, maybe the Arrowverse transfers over to HBO Max. There's always that chance, because we do have Arrowverse shows on HBO Max like Titans, Doom Patrol, and Stargirl, and Superman and Lois as well. You know, they have a relationship there. So with that in mind, I would say HBO Max could be our saving grace. However, Warner Brothers has been taken over by Discovery, and things are not looking very good at HBO Max, so I don't know what's happening. There's not that many good options right now, and it's just a big shame, but I really did predict Mark would be leaving very soon, just because of the way that things looked like it was shaping, and I don't think Mark was actually planning to cancel Legends, Batwoman, or maybe Naomi, but probably not even Naomi, to give it a chance. But then with the acquisition, I believe he was forced to make that decision, along with the new people at Nexstar, because they have these new kind of goals that they were going for. And so yeah, sadly it was just bad timing, and I wish Warner Brothers and CBS stuck to this for a bit longer, but it was actually Discovery that kind of led to this. But anyway, that is it for this video, so thank you guys so much for watching. Once again, sorry that my voice is kind of like dying. I don't know why it keeps on dying when I record these videos, but nevertheless, if you want to become a member of the channel and join in with our members live streams, please be sure to click the join button below, become a member. There is a new tier there, very cool. It's called Super Grand Friend. So if you want to become a super friend of the channel, click the join button below. And for now, if you did enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment. It really helps out the channel. Also subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos and so you stay notified. And you can click on the top right corner of the screen to watch my latest video. But for now, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.
I see red.